Hey everybody, I hope you're doing good out there. Lately a lot of people have told me, "Man, Toby, you're going through a tough season right now. How are you keeping it together? How are you staying so composed?" And some people who mean very well will even say something like, "Don't repress your emotions. Don't repress your feelings, man. That's not healthy. They don't just go away." And what they don't realize is I'm not repressing. Um, so today I'm gonna reveal to you my secret, and I'm gonna explain why. If you are physically able, boxing is an amazing exercise to incorporate into your emotional toolkit. That's right. You might think of boxing as a workout, and that's fine. But for me, boxing is for emotional regulation. And as a bonus, I get cardiovascular and muscular benefits as well. Also, I do have actual workouts for my actual workouts. Um, in order to enjoy the benefits of boxing, you need basic equipment and basic proper technique. Let me emphasize this. You must always be working on perfecting your technique. This is not an uncontrolled frenzy. That is a terrible way to regulate emotion and increases the likelihood of injury. You must always be focused on perfecting your technique. So today, I'm going to give you your first boxing lesson. Always, always wrap your wrists before you're boxing. This is going to help mitigate any injury or even just any kind of potential sprain or minor discomfort on your wrists. And that's pretty important. Like, we have to do things with our hands all day, and you don't want definitely don't injure your wrists, but even like just some like discomfort or some numb, like minor pain, it's super annoying. So just take this time to wrap your wrists. Also, this is a really good step for you to force yourself to get into the boxing mindset. As I said before, we don't just throw our gloves on and then start whooping on something uncontrollably. That's not healthy, and that's not proper form. That's injury prone. Okay, so these 2 minutes where you're wrapping your wrists are just as much a mental preparation as they are a physical preparation. Okay, so don't skip this step, and make sure you're protecting yourself. Okay, for step 2, we're going to do some shadow boxing. Okay, simple definition of shadow boxing is you just punch the air. This is all about getting your muscles and blood flowing, getting a nice little warm up in. Okay, a lot of us have spent the entire day kind of like this, So you gotta, let your muscles loose, limber up, okay, and protect yourself. We don't want any injuries, right? This is super important. So, advanced boxers will use shadow boxing for a lot of other different things, but for here, we're just going to use it as a warm-up. So really, I just want you to start moving around with your feet, throw a couple of punches here and there, right? Get a little bit of motion. We're not trying to do anything fancy. We're really just getting the blood flowing, getting the muscles loose, all right? And that's pretty much it, right? So just get nice and warm. Nothing fancy, nothing fancy. We're feeling good. The muscles are getting loose, and we can try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and super important step, do not skip. All right, it's finally time to have some fun. So I'm just going to give you a crash course and get you to doing your first jab. In boxing, there's a number system to help you define the common movements. Number 1 is the jab. So today you're going to learn how to do number 1. Okay, first thing is we got to get into boxer stance. So take your non-dominant hand, okay? So I'm right-handed, so my non-dominant hand is my left hand. That hand goes out in front, And that same foot also goes out in front, the other foot goes back. I'm not going to nitpick this too much, okay? But you know, you can get a lot more technical, but this is the basic. So this is your lead hand that's out in front, and this is the hand that we're going to use to jab. And then your other hand stays back here, okay? This is going to be used for the cross later. But there you go, boxer stance. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so the actual punch, all right? So the key is there's two rotations that are extremely important to think about. Number one is the arm rotation, okay? So when you start with your arm up like this, you kind of have like a hammer fist. You see that? Like a hammer. And so when you extend and punch, what you're going to do is you're going to rotate into a fist like that, and then rotate back in. Okay? I'm in a hammer. Now, fist. Now, hammer. That rotation, that's rotation number one. Okay? Rotation number two is at your core. Okay? So what's actually going to happen is you also need to be able to use your core to do a rotation, get some rotational energy here. So one way to think about it is, you know, pretend that my hand is just completely limp, you know? Like, just rotating my core should be enough to actually just throw my hand out, right? If my arm is just jello, I should just be able to rotate my core and get the arm to go and hit something, right? So these are the two rotations to think about, and these are the two rotations that you want to move in harmony to maximize the power behind your punch, okay? It's really not that much about actual arm strength. It really comes down to a lot of rotational power, okay? So let's put it all together, okay? Let's get into boxer stance, lead hand in front, and I'm gonna slowly wind up with my core here, you know, and then spring forward, core rotation, arm rotation, jab, back. I'm going to wind up a little bit here and jab, back. One more time. And now you slowly just start to put it together. Okay? There you go. Okay, next thing is, I want you to think pop, not push. Pop, not push. When you punch in the bag, you might think like, oh, I want to punch it. Okay, punch, push, and push through. No, not correct. Not correct. Okay, first of all, if you're using a heavy bag, it's going to put a lot of strain. If I'm doing this with a heavy bag, I'm going to feel it here. I'm going to feel it here. I'm going to feel it here, and it's just more injury prone. And if you're also training for an actual fight, this is just going to leave you super exposed. You're going to get hit. Okay? So I want you to think pop, not push. I want you to think I'm going to pop this bag, not push. Pop, 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 pop. Okay? Notice how the arm is coming back every single time. I'm defensive. I don't want to get hit. I want to hit without getting hit. Okay? So I'm not here pushing and leaving my arm out here. Okay? It's pop, 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 pop. Okay? So, and then add in the rotation. So pop, 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 pop. Okay? So, last thing is when you make your fist, don't close it all the way. Leave enough space so you can fit a roll of quarters in there. Like, don't close your fist all the way. Okay, leave a little bit of space so you can fit a roll of quarters in there. And yeah, that's the last tip. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I learned the basics by going to an actual boxing gym with an actual instructor, with an actual friend in person. So I do recommend that, but I hope that this video and tutorial at least kind of maybe breaks any kind of stereotype or assumption you might have about these types of exercises. Now, yeah, sure, there are going to be some gyms and some cultures where it's like, okay, bro, you're going to the UFC, I'm not here to try to do that, so, do your thing. But I think the majority of the time, you're going to find that, people really just, appreciate how enjoyable boxing can be. And I think also, as long as you demonstrate a certain amount of etiquette, a certain amount of respect, a certain amount of awareness, there's no reason you as a beginner, you as a just kind of casual workout person can't also enjoy the benefits of boxing. Okay? Definitely don't be kind of like, the guy who's at the gym as the heavy bag and just making stuff up, and then, doing that for 20 minutes, right? Like, I remember I was training on the heavy bag at the gym. One of the guys was kind of warming up next to me. He looked pretty serious, and I'm just kind of like trying to just stay in shape. And but he asked me like, hey, how much you got? And I had my phone with the interval timer on, so I could just show him like, hey, yeah, just 2 more sets, 4 minutes, then it's all yours, and it's all good, right? Then it's all good. So as long as you kind of know what you're doing, and you just kind of like, just have a common respect for everybody around you, there's no reason you should not be able to enjoy the benefits of this exercise. Last thing I do want to also let you consider is there are a huge amount of different tools that you can use for emotional regulation. Maybe some of you may know I also enjoy playing guitar and singing. That is also a great way, music, creativity, those are all great ways to also regulate emotions. Boxing is also really great but it's unique because you get to do one thing. You get to do something that you don't really get to do with other things, right? You get to hit something, You get to hit, right? You get to put it out there, right? So it's a little bit different, right? When you're playing the guitar, you're not necessarily, unless you're shredding it, you're not necessarily getting too aggressive like that. But that's what makes boxing, I think, slightly more different, and I think why it should be a part of your toolkit. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a blessed day. Hope you have a blessed week, and God loves you. God loves us all, and take care.